All right, so you add and subtract rational expressions the way that you add and subtract regular fractions, meaning that you need to find a lowest common denominator. So here you're asked to add and subtract and then identify where the function is undefined or where the expression is undefined, meaning you're going to have to do the slashing thing where you set the bottoms equal to 0 and slash all your equal signs. So in terms of steps, first thing you have to do is you have to factor all of your denominators. That allows you to find your lowest common denominator, and then you need to multiply each term by what it's missing, kind of like you do with regular fractions. You want to multiply the top out. Do not multiply the bottom out. That makes everything worse. You want to combine all your top parts. Attempt to factor the top and simplify if possible. And then you want to use the lowest common denominator to see where your function is undefined. So, or expression, rather. Looking at the first one, this first one is ridiculously simple, and the bottoms already match, and neither of them factor. So your lowest common denominator would just be your matching bottom part. Fine. So now you're missing nothing because they both have the bottom part. So you put all of your top parts. So that's x minus 3 plus x minus 2 over one copy of your lowest common denominator. And then you want to combine stuff on the top. So you got x and x, which would be 2x because we're adding. Negative 3 and negative 2 would be minus 5 over x plus 4. You would try to factor the top. If it factors, great. If it doesn't factor, fine. 2x minus 5 does nothing. So here's our sum. So this is part of our answer. You also need to identify where the expression is undefined. So you take your lowest common denominator, because that is your original bottom part. Set it equal to 0. And you say, okay, this is what would make the bottom 0. Bottom can't be 0. That means that this is a bad number. And then that is the other part of your answer. And that is it. I mean, clearly they get more complicated, but at its core, this is what you're doing, okay? So looking at this one, x plus 4, not going to factor. This one is going to factor, so you want to factor it. So you get negative 4. You need two numbers that multiply to be negative 4 and add up to be 3, which would be 4 and negative 1. So then you're looking at x plus 4, x minus 1, divided by 1, which accomplishes nothing, but we're writing it down. Fine, so we factored it. So what we're looking at then is x minus 3 over x plus 4 and x minus 1 plus 2x over x plus 4. Fine, so looking at it, you need to look at all of your bottom parts and you need to figure out your lowest common denominator. So they both have an x plus 4, so that needs to be part of your lowest common denominator. This one also has an x minus 1. Scoot this over. So that also needs to be part of your lowest common denominator. Okay, so then this right here is your lowest common denominator. Okay, so then you have to see if anything is missing a portion of that denominator. So this one has both parts. Good shape. This one has the x plus 4. It is missing the x minus 1, which means it needs the x minus 1. So you need to multiply the top and the bottom by that missing portion, which is the x minus 1. Okay. So this needs to be distributed out. So if you distribute your 2x, and this is really 2x squared minus 2x. So at that point, you want to put all your tops over your common denominator. So you got x minus 3 plus 2x squared minus 2x over x plus 4 and x minus 1. Fine. So you want to put the top part in standard form. So you got 2x squared. X and negative 2x is negative x minus 3 over x plus 4, x minus 1. So now you need to attempt to factor the top part. So again, we did that in the last problem, but it didn't factor, so we were done. This one, you've got -6. Need two numbers that multiply to be -6 and add up to be -1, which would be -3 and 2. That means it does factor, so you need to factor it. So, looking for where to do it. Right here. Got x minus 3, x plus 2. Divide them by your number in front, which is 2. So then you're looking at 2x minus 3 and x plus 1 over x plus 4 and x minus 1. Okay, so this doesn't simplify at all, which is fine. So then that means this is our sum. That's as simple as it gets, which is great. You still need to go back and identify where the function is undefined. So we take our denominator, set them equal to 0. Figure these are the places that are going to make the bottom 0. So once you solve them, you want to slash or equal signs. And then this is the other portion of your answer. Okay. More practice. All right, so this is a subtraction problem. Subtraction is really the hardest thing because people get sloppy with their signs. So what you want to do is you want to change all the subtraction problems into addition problems because it will prevent many, many mistakes. So we're going to change the minus into a plus. And then you change all of the top signs behind the minus. Okay, so all I have here is 20, but now it's a -20, and that should eliminate sign mistakes. And then you want to factor all your bottom parts. So 2x minus 12, you can factor the 2 out and have x minus 6. X squared minus 4x minus 12, you get -12. Need two numbers that multiply to be -12 and add up to be -4, which would be -6 and 2. So then you're looking at x minus 6, x plus 2 divided by 1, which accomplishes nothing. Okay, so once you finish factoring, you want to write down what you have. So over here, I've got 5 over 2 and x minus 6 plus -20 over x minus 6 and x plus 2. Fine. So now you want to identify what your lowest common denominator is. Put in anything that you're missing. So looking at all your bottom parts, they both have an x minus 6. Definitely need that. This one has a 2. You need the 2. This one has the term x plus 2. You need that one too. Say, okay, so now you need to multiply everything by what it's missing. So this term has the 2 and the x minus 6. It's missing the x plus 2. So you're going to put it into the top and the bottom. -20 has the x minus 6 and the x plus 2. It's missing the 2. So we're going to put in the 2. Okay. So you want to multiply everything out. So 5, you're going to distribute it in. So you're looking at 5x plus 10. -20, if you multiply it by 2, is going to be -40. Fine. So at that point, what you have is you've got 5x plus 10 minus 40 over your lowest common denominator, which is 2 and x minus 6 and x plus 2. Okay, so combining your like terms, you're looking at 5x minus 30 over 2 and x minus 6, x plus 2. All right, so looking to factor the top part, you can pull a 5 out. Got 5 and x minus 6 over 2 and x minus 6 and x plus 2. So then see how these match? Get rid of it. Because you're simplifying, okay? Because you should always simplify when you're done. We haven't had to do it up until this point because it hasn't applied, but now it applies. So then on the top you have 5, on the bottom you've got 2, and you have x plus 2. So here's our difference. And you go, I'm done, but you're not done because you still have to identify where the function is undefined. It is especially important for these where you have already crossed something out that you go back to where you originally wrote the lowest common denominator to do your zero slashing nonsense. So 2, you don't have to set equal to 0 because it's a constant. To set 2 equal to 0 tells you nothing. So you have x minus 6 equals 0, x plus 2 equals 0. You will solve them both and slash your equal sign. So add over the 6, you get x equals 6. You go bad, bad, terrible number, you make the bottom 0. Over here, subtract the 2, you get x equals negative 2. You go bad, terrible number, you make the bottom 0. And that would be your answer. All right, 3 to go. Fine. So again, these 3 are all subtraction problems because that is what people tend to be worse at. So we're going to make it an addition problem and change these signs back here. Okay, so now you want to try and factor any of your bottom parts. So x squared minus 3 is difference of squares, so that'll factor in x plus 3, x minus 3. So then you're looking at 2x squared minus 30 over x plus 3, x minus 3, plus negative x minus 5 over x plus 3. Then you want your lowest common denominator. Fine. So they both have x plus 3. You need that. This one also has x minus 3, so you need to include that. All right, so those are all my bottom parts. So this one has everything. It's in good shape. This one only has x plus 3. That means it's missing x minus 3, so you need to put it into the top and the bottom and multiply everything out. So here you've got negative x squared plus 3x minus 5x plus 15. You could combine your like terms in there, but realistically, no one cares because when you put everything on top, you're going to have to do it then anyway. So looking at all your tops, you got 2x squared minus 30 minus x squared plus 3x minus 5x plus 15 over x plus 3x minus 3. Okay, so combining everything, you got 2x squared minus x squared, which is going to be x squared. 3 minus 5 is going to be negative 2x. Negative 30 and 15 is minus 15 over x plus 3x minus 3. Okay, so next thing you got to do is you have to try and factor the top part. So you get negative 15. You're looking for 2 numbers that multiply to be negative 15 and add up to be negative 2, which would be negative 5 and 3. Fine, so that means it factors. So then you have x minus 5, x plus 3, divided by 1, which accomplishes nothing, but you should write it down anyway. Okay, so there's your factored part. So then really you're looking at x minus 5 and x plus 3 over x plus 3, x minus 3. Looking to simplify, the x plus 3's match. So then on top you're left with x minus 5, on the bottom you're left with x minus 3, and that is your difference. So you still have to identify where the function is undefined. So you want to set these both equal to 0. Solve. Figure this is going to make the bottom 0, so slash or equal sign. Add. This is going to make the bottom 0, slash or equal sign. And that is the other part of your answer. So 2 more. So again, subtraction, you want to make this plus. Change both of these signs. Factor this bottom part, so you get negative 18. You need 2 numbers that multiply to be negative 18 and add up to be negative 3, which would be negative 6 and 3. So then x minus 6, x plus 3, divided by 1, which accomplishes nothing. All right, so then you're looking at 3x squared minus 1 over x minus 6, x plus 3, plus negative x minus 2 over x minus 6. Fine, so lowest common denominator, You need x minus 6 because they both have that. And that one has x plus 3, so you need that one too. So this one has everything. This one's missing x plus 3, so you got to put it in to the top and the bottom. And you got to multiply everything out. So that one won't change. This one, multiplying out, you got negative x squared minus 3x minus 2x minus 6. Fine. So then you've got 3x squared minus 1 minus x squared minus 3x minus 2x minus 6 over x minus 6 and x plus 3. Combining like terms, you got 2x squared minus 5x minus 7 over x minus 6 and x plus 3. At negative 14, you need two numbers that multiply to be negative 14 and add up to be negative 5, which would be negative 7 and 2. Okay, so you have x minus 7, x plus 2. Helps if you can see all of it. Divide them by your number in front, which is 2. So then you're looking at 2x minus 7 and x plus 1 over x minus 6 and x plus 3. So nothing matches. So while we had to factor to completely simplify, it was a pointless venture in terms of it doing anything specific, but this is going to be our ultimate difference. And then you still need to go back here, set them equal to 0 and slash or equal sign. So x minus 6 is 0, x plus 3 is 0. Here you'll add over the 6, the x is 6, slash the equal sign. Subtract 3, the x is negative 3, slash the equal sign, and then that is also a portion of your answer. Last one. All right, here all the bottoms factor, which is great. So you need to factor them all. So looking at this one, you get 6. You need two numbers that multiply to be 6 and add up to be negative 5, which is negative 2 and negative 3. So then you have x minus 2, x minus 3, divided by 1, which accomplishes nothing. Okay, this one is x plus 3 and x minus 3 because it's difference of squares. And you know, this is also a subtraction problem, so to fix it, you need to make this a plus, change the sign on the 5, and then write down everything you have. So you got 2x minus 3 over x minus 2 and x minus 3 plus negative 5 over x plus 3, x minus 3. So then you want to find your lowest common denominator. So they both have x minus 3. That's important. This one has an x minus 2. You need that one. This one also has an x plus 3. You need that one too. So that's a lot of parts, but that is okay. So then you need to put in what you're missing. So this one of these parts is missing the x plus 3. So it goes into the top and the bottom. The second one is missing the x minus 2. So it goes into the top, bottom. You got to multiply everything out. So here you're looking at 2x squared plus 6x minus 3x minus 9. Fine. Here you got negative 5x plus 10. So then we want to write down all the stuff that we have over here. So you got 2x squared plus 6x minus 3x minus 9 minus 5x plus 10 over your new lowest common denominator. Okay, so then you got 2x squared. 6x minus 3x is going to be 3x minus 5x is going to be negative 2x. This little thing that looks like a minus is just me being sloppy with my pen. So we're going to make it look like an extra big 2. So then you get minus 2x. Negative 9 and 10 is going to be plus 1. Okay, over all this nonsense. Okay, so multiply, you get 2. You need two numbers that multiply to be 2 and add up to be negative 2. No numbers do that. So then here's your difference. And then you want to do your denominator thing where you set your bottoms equal to 0 and slash your equal signs. So you got x minus 3 is 0, x minus 2 is 0, x plus 3 is 0. So here you'll add over the 3, get x equals 3, slash that one, add over the 2, get x equals 2, slash that one, subtract the 3, get x equals -3, slash that one, and then that, again, is the remainder of your answer, and that is adding and subtracting.